This monkey looks ugly and quite sleazy, but he makes all the girls blush and shy. Girls come to the convenience store just to get the monkey's contact information. I see all this happening and I'm not surprised, because from their ordinary perspective, this monkey is not ugly at all, but a handsome and sunny guy. I don't know when it started. I accidentally discovered that many beast people have mixed into human society. They disguise themselves as ordinary people and integrate into various positions in society. Out of fear of getting into trouble, I can only pretend not to see. But today, after I finished shopping and left, that monkey turned his gaze on me. He realized his identity was exposed. So when I came to the park to feed cats, 3 thugs approached me. They said my cats were meowing all the time, annoying them to no end. I wanted to argue with them. But when I saw the face of their leader, I was too scared to speak, because this guy was clearly not human. Feeling that something was very wrong, I quickly made up an excuse to try to escape. But the snake monster said, "You think you can leave?" Then he stretched out his hand. Several fingers began to split and transform. Several venomous snakes suddenly rushed out from his hand. I was bitten on the neck by one of them, injecting venom. I instantly fell to the ground and started convulsing. The snake monster said, "Although I used the lowest level of poison, it's enough to cause cardiac arrest in an ordinary person like you." Feeling intense pain throughout my body, I couldn't help but complain about how unlucky I was. The ability to see beast people wasn't something I chose. In my moment of despair, I don't know if it was an illusion, I saw a huge tiger appear in front of me. Hearing its fierce roar, I gradually lost consciousness. But that tiger didn't kill me. Instead, it unleashed a powerful energy wave that sent the 3 beast people staggering backward. The snake monster leader was shocked. "This power, it's really you. So you've been hiding inside a human all these years." As the energy dissipated, the fierce tiger had already transformed into human form. His eyes filled with killing intent. After putting me on the ground, he muttered, "I'm sorry for making you endure so much pain. I'll take care of them for you. It won't take long." As soon as he finished speaking, the 2 beast person underlings had already charged forward. They thought the tiger had just awakened, so his power surely hadn't recovered yet. So they wanted to strike while the iron was hot. But reality is cruel. The tiger only needed to gather a little strength. One slap was enough to instantly kill one of the beast people, while the other one leaped high, attempting a sneak attack. But all that awaited him was a heavy kick from the fierce tiger. Seeing his 2 underlings instantly defeated, the snake monster leader had to step in himself. But just when he thought he had succeeded, the tiger reached back and strangled his venomous snake. Finally, grabbing the snake's body, he pulled it over in one swift motion. In a flash, the snake monster's body was torn apart under the tiger's fierce claws. But just when the tiger thought the battle was over, the snake monster split his body into countless small snakes. Then they slipped into the shadows and scattered away. The tiger didn't pursue. He knew he had been completely exposed. Then he turned his head to look at me lying nearby, discovering that I still had a faint breath. Time quickly jumped to a week later. I woke up groggily to a series of calls. A blonde guy was standing in front of me. He was wearing my clothes, complaining, "Since you're awake, hurry up and make breakfast." I shouted, "I have a name. My name is Aishin." "And, can't you make your own breakfast?" Ever since that day I was ambushed by the snake monster. This strange tiger moved into my house. His name is Hanyu. He seems to be the protagonist of a mythical story I once heard. But unfortunately, he doesn't have the dignity of a mythical figure. Because he's a feline, there's a strange kind of gapmo. At this moment, I came out carrying 2 freshly fried eggs, only to find him so hungry that he was fighting with my cat over food. This fierce tiger Hanyu really couldn't understand why I would give food to such a useless trash like a cat. As I watched this contest between the little cat and the big cat, a black line couldn't help but appear on my forehead. After breakfast, I asked Hanyu what exactly happened that day. "That escaped snake monster seemed to know you." Hanyu just pondered slightly, then suddenly struck with his claws. My clothes were torn apart by him, revealing the necklace on my neck. This jade pendant necklace was a relic left to me by my mother. Hanyu had been hiding in there before. He pressed on my shoulder and warned me, "From now on, I must always carry the necklace with me, because troublesome things are about to start happening." Later at school, a transfer student named Ihu joined our class today. Other classmates weren't interested in this short guy, but I felt a chill run down my spine the moment I saw him. I knew he wasn't human. Later, during break time, Ihu accidentally bumped into the school bully in the hallway. This fat guy immediately said he was going to teach him a lesson. A group of them forcibly took Ihu away. Coincidentally, my friend Xiaona passed by. She followed this group of people to the rooftop. But here, Ihu just patted the fat guy's shoulder and said, "I just came to this school today, so I'll let you off the hook this time." This made the fat guy feel like he was being looked down upon. He grabbed Ihu intending to punch him. However, Ihu turned around. A friendly smile appeared on his face. In that instant, a cold chill ran through the fat guy's entire body. Then, from the perspective of the sidekicks, the fat guy didn't touch Ihu anymore. Instead, he picked up a nearby chair and smashed it towards them. The fat guy's attack was extremely fierce. In a moment, he had taken care of all the sidekicks. When Xiaona, who was peeking from the corner, stuck her head out, she only saw the demonic-looking Ihu. She was startled by a big shock. After school, she immediately came to find me. She told me about Ihu's incident at noon. She was about to tell me she felt Ihu wasn't human, when Ihu suddenly appeared from behind. He interrupted Xiaona's words, and began to ask where I lived. He wanted to come and play tonight. I was about to respond when Xiaona quickly said, "Don't you have something to do tonight? Let's talk about it next time." Then she hurriedly pulled me away. Ihu watched Xiaona's back, instantly filled with murderous intent. He caught up with Xiaona. "Who the fuck do you think you are, daring to interrupt me? You useless fat pig." That night, Xiaona, with her body under control, stood at the edge of an abandoned building. She tremblingly called me, hoping I would come quickly to save her. Behind her, Ihu was planning how to deal with me next. This boy appears to be a good student on the surface, but behind the scenes he has an uncontrollable beastly nature. The school bully bumped into him once, so he used his beast person power to control him, making him beat up his own 3 lackeys. The girl in the corner witnessed all this. She wanted to tell on him but was discovered and put under an illusion by him. Ihu angrily insulted the girl, calling her a stinking fat pig. And at night, he controlled Xiaona to stand at the edge of the building. He didn't act directly. Instead, he made Xiaona call me for help, because Ihu's purpose for this trip was to find me, the person harboring the tiger's power, as per his boss's orders, to confirm exactly how strong I am. At this moment, I hurriedly arrived at the scene. Seeing my good friend about to fall, I urged her to come down quickly, but Xiaona only cried, saying her body was no longer under her control. The boss, watching from the side, confirmed that the tiger inside me probably hadn't awakened yet. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so weak and powerless. Their conversation made the highly competitive Ihu even more irritated. Why does everyone care so much about a piece of shit like me? When I asked him why he was doing this, Ihu directly shouted, "Shut up, you just watch." Then he controlled Xiaona to jump directly. This sudden turn of events surprised even the bosses, and by the time I rushed over it was too late. Xiaona crashed straight onto the ground. Hearing the sound of the girl's death, Ihu laughed with satisfaction. He mocked me, saying what kind of fierce tiger was I, more like a skinny chicken. Then Ihu turned to look at the boss. He said there's nothing worth caring about this waste, but the boss angrily scolded him for being a madman, actually causing a death. "If I had known, I wouldn't have found you." These words completely enraged Ihu. Since the day he was hired, the bosses had always looked down on him, and now he had proved himself stronger than that so-called tiger. Why were they still treating him this way? I rushed forward in anger, ready to beat him up, but Ihu just raised his finger and pressed me down. He warned me not to act recklessly, or he could snap my neck in a second. At this critical moment, the boss stepped in to stop Ihu. However, Ihu was already completely out of control. He warned the boss that if he valued his life, he shouldn't move. Hearing this, the boss also revealed his killing intent. "Shut up, you madman." The aura between the two exploded in an instant. However, Ihu dared to act this way because he had his own confidence. As a pure beast person, he just reached out and broke the boss's neck from a distance, with another wave of his hand. The boss was instantly killed and thrown aside. After dealing with the troublesome person, Ihu turned his gaze on me again. He moved his finger, and my hands uncontrollably started choking my own neck. Feeling the pain of being unable to breathe, my survival instinct reached its peak. When Ihu was about to send me to meet Xiaona, the boss's corpse behind him suddenly emitted a black energy. This energy swept past Ihu and swarmed towards me. In an instant, a powerful force began to surge endlessly within me. Seeing this, the two underlings were also shocked. I could actually absorb other people's energy. Seeing my aura skyrocket, Ihu no longer looked down on me. He started to get serious. He pushed his illusion power to the limit, determined to prove he was a stronger being than me. But the next second, Ihu suddenly bled from 7 orifices. His right arm bent and broke on its own. In the face of my power, his illusion had been reversed. Now he was tasting his own medicine. I suddenly grabbed his collar. "Why did you kill Xiaona? I will never forgive you." Hearing this, Ihu started laughing. "You think you've won? You're just fooling yourself. When that girl died, you couldn't do anything." As he said this, he laughed even louder. "Laugh your ass off." Angrily, I gave him a heavy punch, knocking Ihu into the wall, leaving him powerless. Just as he raised his head, I rushed over and gave him another punch. The wall was directly broken through. Ihu flew out of the abandoned building. He fell in midair. Looking at my silhouette, he cursed unwillingly. "Damn it." Then he crashed to the ground, completely losing his fighting ability. I also immediately jumped to the ground and started looking around for Xiaona. But at this moment, Ihu's energy suddenly went out of control. They all rushed towards me, seemingly wanting to enter my body as well. I instinctively wanted to resist, but I was still forcibly invaded by this power, finally passing out. By the time the 2 minions came down, they only saw me unconscious. Just as they were wondering what to do, a powerful force has arrived here. It's Hanyu. He has arrived at the scene. Seeing the mess and my injuries, he immediately frowned. Sensing danger, the 2 underlings quickly turned to flee. But Hanyu swiftly blocked their way. He grabbed one by the neck and asked what had just happened. The underling stammered that they were from the World Health Organization. Upon hearing this, Hanyu's eyes flashed with menace. He killed the underling on the spot. The other one, terrified, quickly said they were just following orders. The injury to me was purely accidental. He is the strongest beastman standing at the peak of all beasts. But he had been sealed within a young boy for decades, which led to countless beasts hunting the boy. Even his best friend was killed before his eyes. When the fierce tiger Hanyu arrived at the scene, he only saw me lying on the ground covered in wounds. An enraged Hanyu instantly killed a beast man on the spot. The other one was so scared he nearly wet his pants. To save his life, the beast man revealed that they were just hired guns, and that they were employed by an organization called Yiksha Gang. In this world of mixed humans and beasts, some powerful beasts form organizations, and this Yiksha Gang runs dozens of nightclubs. At this moment, their leader Yiksha is inspecting one of the clubs. Today, a DJ named Zhang Xiaohu is performing at the club. His voice is as beautiful as a woman's, very captivating. Tonight's business is booming, but Yiksha isn't there just for him. His underlings have already sent word that the operation to investigate the tiger Hanyu has gone awry. All the beasts involved were killed, even a human was killed. This has brought many influential beastmen here to discuss how to deal with the situation. But during the meeting, Zhang Xiaohu quietly slipped outside. It turns out he is a spy. Using his sharp ears, he overheard the discussions of the powerful figures inside. The tiger has awakened. My identity as the one who harbors the tiger's power is now fully exposed. Yiksha suggests capturing Hanyu. The other beasts hesitate. After all, Hanyu is known as the strongest beastman in history. No one knows if all of them together could even take him on. But Yiksha exudes confidence. So what if he's the strongest in history? History is already in the past. At this moment, one of the underlings noticed Zhang Xiaohu sneaking around outside. They tried to grab him to interrogate him. But Yiksha suddenly unleashed a killing intent. As a high-level beastman, he sharply sensed that Xiaohu was not an ordinary person. Without waiting for him to speak, Yiksha rushed forward to attack. Xiaohu was caught by him. A powerful blow slammed him into the wall. But when the smoke cleared, Xiaohu was unharmed. He teased, as expected of Yiksha. That blow really hurt. But Yiksha didn't waste words. She kicked at him again. This time, the attack punched a big hole in the wall. Xiaohu took the opportunity to dodge outside. Having already overheard the intel, he didn't linger. He turned and fled. He sprinted all the way. With one leap, he broke through the glass and landed on the street. He thought there were pedestrians on the street and the other party would not chase him anymore. But Yiksha didn't care about exposure. She started attacking Xiaohu on the road without hesitation. Seeing this, Zhang Xiaohu decided not to hold back. He turned around, put some distance, and shouted, "My turn now." Flames burst out instantly. He then launched a crossfireball at Yiksha. The fierce flames began to scorch Yiksha. But the next second, Zhang Xiaohu was shocked. Yiksha, who had taken the flames head-on, was only slightly scratched. And this attack made Yiksha recognize his identity. It turns out he was a well-known beastman in the circle, nicknamed Nine-Tailed Fox. By now, their battle had attracted the attention of nearby passers-by. The flames from Xiaohu surprised the crowd. They wondered if a movie was being filmed. Meanwhile, in a car, a team from the National Security Agency was quietly observing the two. Xiaohu looked at the noisy crowd and said, "Do you still want to fight? Things could get out of hand." He then took advantage of Yiksha's distraction and leaped up to the roof. Yiksha, realizing this, complained, "What a cunning fox," then immediately gave chase. When he reached the rooftop, Xiaohu's flames were already waiting for him. He unleashed a fire blast that pierced the sky, but Yiksha reacted in time and dodged, then counterattacked with a powerful punch. Even Zhang Xiaohu was startled by her incredible speed. Although this powerful punch didn't injure him, it made Xiaohu realize Yiksha's strength was above his own. There was no choice. Xiaohu quickly jumped back, preparing to retreat, but Yiksha wasn't planning to let him go tonight. In a flash, she appeared below Zhang Xiaohu, his fist gathering power, intending to finish him off with this strike. Meanwhile, on the street below, the national security team had already evacuated the crowd. The captain, Zhang Meiqi, watched the battle above, deep in thought. Tonight was destined to be an extraordinary night. At this point, Zhang Xiaohu had been cornered. After taking that terrifying punch head-on, he didn't die. Even Yiksha couldn't help but praise him. "You are the second person in this world to remain standing after taking a punch from me. I accidentally discovered that there are beings other than humans in this society. They crossed over from another world. After concealing their terrifying true forms, they hide within society. Anyone who discovers the truth is silenced by the beastmen. And I, because of a necklace left by my mother, was inexplicably hunted down by all the beastmen. When the strongest beastman, Hanyu, arrived at the scene, my good friend had already been killed, and I was gravely injured and unconscious. In a fit of rage, Hanyu dealt with the two beastmen on the spot. Then he took me home. I kept dreaming of Xiaona. I reached out to save her in my dreams, but always woke up with a start. At those times, Hanyu was right beside me. He would remind me that it was still early and I should sleep some more. I didn't respond to him. Instead, I asked him about Ihu and those beastmen. What exactly are they? When I was very young, I sometimes saw things I shouldn't have. Whenever that happened, my mother would tell me that they were friends of humanity, and I shouldn't be afraid. But as I grew up, whether it was the snake monster or Ihu, or that three-person team, they all made me deeply uneasy. I asked Hanyu what was really going on. You must know, right? Hanyu didn't answer directly. Instead, he asked me where my mother was now. When I told him my mother had passed away, he took out the necklace and asked, "What did your mother say when she gave you this pendant?" I honestly replied. Mom said it was a talisman for safety, and told me to carry it with me at all times. After hearing this, Hanyu's face darkened. It seems I need to visit your mother. Those words left me dumbfounded. Visit? What do you mean? Meanwhile, out on the street, Jiang Xiaohu was still facing off against Yiksha. Because he was the second person in the world to survive a punch from her, Yiksha expressed her admiration for Xiaohu, but her words only made Jiang Xiaohu more intrigued. He said he would love to spar with the first person, but Yiksha was instantly furious. She angrily declared, "You're not even worthy to carry his shoes." Then she gathered her strength to attack, but Xiaohu gathered flames to block, and in an instant, jumped into the air. He unleashed a powerful burst of flames, sending 2 blazing flames crashing down. Yiksha, unable to dodge, was knocked to the ground. When Xiaohu stopped, Yiksha asked, "How long have you been on Earth?" But Xiaohu casually replied, "I haven't calculated," and then mentioned Yiksha's master. He said he wanted to know what exactly his intentions were. These words made Yiksha radiate killing intent. "To think you even know about my master." She was determined to capture Xiaohu today. As the tension escalated between the two, a security team arrived at the scene. They drew their guns and warned the two not to move. But Yiksha just glanced at them, then turned to Xiaohu and asked, "Are you one of their lackeys?" Xiaohu quickly replied, "How could I be? Do I look like I lack shame?" Seeing this, Yiksha realized there would be no conclusion tonight. She left with a harsh threat, "Next time I'll definitely bring you down," then jumped off the building and quickly disappeared. Her incredible skills confirmed for Captain Jiang Meichi that she definitely wasn't human. Meanwhile, Xiaohu didn't choose to flee. Instead, he willingly extended his hands to be arrested by the team. This was an interrogation to identify non-humans. The beast man, known as the nine-tailed fox, voluntarily surrendered to the authorities. During the investigation, humans discovered that all of his data was fake, confirming that the person in front of them was definitely not human. And Xiaohu didn't hide anything. He said more than that. He could shoot flames from his hands, and with a light leap, could jump to the roof of a 5-story building. Aren't you curious about that? His words successfully caught the attention of the investigation team. But as the team leader, Jiang Meichi knew, this guy wouldn't reveal anything for free. He asked Xiaohu, "Who exactly are you?" The next second, Jiang Xiaohu unleashed his flame powers, and to achieve his goal, he straightforwardly revealed his true form and said, "The creatures of this world are not limited to just you humans." Meanwhile, on an old street, a new beast man was making his appearance. 3 thugs were violently collecting a debt. The creditor was caught and beaten up by them because he ran away secretly. Just as they were about to continue, the debtors suddenly pointed behind them. There, crouching, was a homeless man. He looked at the 3 thugs and picked up an iron rod. His bizarre behavior made the 3 men burst out laughing. "What? Are you going to hit us?" One of them, a fat guy, nearly laughed to death. "I'm standing right here, hit me if you dare." But the next second, the iron rod was in his face. The homeless man swung a single blow, sending him flying to the next street. Then the homeless man turned to warn the others, "If you want to live, you better leave." Back to Xiaohu's side, he had already proven his identity, and began explaining the origin of the beast men to the curious Jiang Meichi. On this planet, every country has its own myths and legends. They were created by the rich imaginations of humans, each one possessing extraordinary powers. But in reality, these beings are beast men who crossed over from other dimensions. Just like Superman came from Krypton, when they arrived on Earth, some chose to reveal their powers and were recorded in myths, while others chose to live in hiding within society. Jiang Xiaohu explained, "In fact, calling them beast men somewhat demeans them. They are actually higher life forms that surpass humans." Hearing these words, Jiang Meichi was silent for a moment before asking, what would have happened if they had really shot at Yiksha? She would have caught the bullet with one hand. Xiaohu immediately answered the question. He revealed that Yiksha's species is the Yiksha ghost, whose strength and defense are unmatched even among beast men. Meanwhile, Yiksha had already returned to headquarters. She was there to report to her master. The master asked about the battle at the nightclub tonight. Upon learning that the nine-tailed fox was taken by humans, he wasn't surprised. He told Yiksha that humans are not to be feared. "You don't need to worry about it." He then took out a note, saying he had an old friend on an old street. "Go and have him bring the human protected by the tiger." After Yiksha left, a mysterious figure appeared behind the man. He called out the man's name directly. "Master Lilong, you really care about her, don't you?" Lilong replied, "Yiksha is my right hand and most solid support. He is the mythical one-horn king, yet willingly lives as a beggar. Whenever the neighbors are in danger, he steps forward. The iron rod in his hand has taken down countless thugs. But after completing his mission today, an unexpected guest arrived in his territory. A master from the Yiksha clan found him, hoping the one-horn king would help him catch someone. The one-horn king recognized that this person, like him, was also a beast man. And so, 3 days later, the one-horn king appeared on a high-speed train heading out of town. 2 hours ago, Hanyu and I were discussing going home, to find out why the pendant that sealed him was in my mother's possession. Hanyu decided to return to my hometown with me. Hanyu felt that if he didn't find out what happened during the 5,000 years he was missing, he could never truly love this world. But watching Hanyu gorge on chips, I couldn't help but complain. "You've already fallen in love with this world." Then I asked him again, What was that power I unleashed during my fight with Ihu? I haven't been able to summon it since, no matter how hard I try. Could it be that I am also a beast man? But Hanyu quickly dismissed that idea. He believed my strange power came from the pendant. I couldn't possibly be a beast man. How could there be a beast man so weak that they can't even open a bag of chips? Besides, they can sense each other. For example, the guy who just entered the carriage. Hanyu immediately turned his head, exuding killing intent. He had already sensed the malicious intent. For some reason, the One-Horned King agreed to Lilong's request and came here to capture me. Hanyu then urged me to get off the train quickly. Staying here would only hinder his fight, but I looked outside. How could I get off when the train is going so fast? With no other option, Hanyu picked me up and prepared to escape, but as soon as he turned around, the One-Horned King was already behind us, swinging his iron rod down fiercely. Hanyu dodged just in time and said, "Are you also a lackey of the Yiksha clan?" He then launched a vicious tiger claw attack, following up with a powerful kick that sent the One-Horned King flying outside. When Hanyu and I reached the outside, the One-Horned King looked up and said, "I've never seen you before, a new face?" Of course, I was just born. Still a baby, you know, Hanyu shamelessly boasted. Hearing this, the One-Horned King swung an energy wave. "Then try this, kid." But the energy wave was aimed at me. Hanyu hurried over to shield me, but the One-Horned King took the opportunity to knock him aside, then followed up with a double foot stomp. Recovering, Hanyu cursed, "You even beat up humans who are powerless. Do you have any shame?" The One-Horned King didn't care at all, because his target was me. This left Hanyu a bit dumbfounded. The One-Horned King then grabbed his iron rod and charged again. The continuous accidents made Hanyu feel irritated. Losing his patience, he shifted into his battle form. He was getting serious now. Hanyu then unleashed a slash attack. The sharp tiger claw left a mark on the One-Horned King's face. What followed was Hanyu moving like a phantom, dodging every swing of the iron rod. It was like a cat toying with a mouse. Serious Hanyu caught the One-Horned King off guard. By the time he reacted, Hanyu was already behind him. With energy gathered in his tiger paw, he unleashed a fiery slash. The slash was powerful enough to cut through rock, and it sent the One-Horned King collapsing to the ground. After the fight, Hanyu struck a pose and said, "Why am I so handsome? I'm falling in love with myself." But I quickly warned Hanyu to be careful. The next second, a high-speed train came rushing through. The previously cocky Hanyu was slammed against the windshield. I was stunned, watching Hanyu get hit and sent flying. Before I could catch up, the One-Horned King, who had been knocked down, got back up. "Things are going easier than I expected, kid." During Yiksha and the One-Horned King's conversation earlier, Yiksha had warned him, although that human is protected by a powerful guy, but don't underestimate him. In some ways, that guy might be even scarier than the tiger. Now the One-Horned King placed a hand on my shoulder. He wanted to see what I was capable of. Then he slapped me hard. I defiantly grabbed his hand and bit it, but he swatted me away like a fly. With no other choice, realizing I couldn't win, I tried to escape. But the next second, the One-Horned King caught up to me, knocking me down with his rod. To avoid any accidents, the One-Horned King decided to take me away immediately. He dragged me along the ground like a chick, which made me feel deeply humiliated. I had a normal student life before this, but now it was ruined by these bastards. And now everyone is trying to kill me. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. The power from before started to surge within me again. Meanwhile, at the tunnel entrance, Hanyu was speeding back. He was just an ordinary high school student, until a pendant revealed the secret of beast men to him. Countless beast men started hunting him down because of his uniqueness. His parents mysteriously disappeared. His girlfriend was also killed, and now he was under attack by the one-horned beast man. Even though the tiger beast man protecting me was on his way, the long-standing humiliation had filled me with rage. The pendant on my body unleashed a powerful force, allowing me to choke the one-horned king's throat with one hand. With a slight twist, I snapped his arm. In that instant, the one-horned king's life flashed before his eyes. His instincts told him he would die by my hand today. But just then, a high-speed train shattered the tension, accompanied by the fierce Hanyu. "You're tired of living, huh? How dare you hurt a child?" Meanwhile, on the other side, Lilong and Yiksha arrived at a laboratory. To figure out the source of my power, Lilong specifically sought out Baiha, the most famous doctor among the beast men. Baiha extracted the DNA I left at the scene that day and made it into a serum. Then he injected it into a test subject. The results far exceeded everyone's expectations. Ordinary beast men who received my DNA serum experienced a significant boost in both endurance and explosive power. This outcome made Lilong very happy, but it also brought other problems. Once the serum supply was cut off, the beast men would experience severe side effects, becoming extremely weak. It would take several days to recover. If they wanted to maintain their enhanced combat strength, Lilong would have to capture me. That's why all the beast men started hunting me. But there was one special case. Because of his strong body, this beast man was the only one who could withstand the most DNA serum without any issues. Lilong tapped the glass and said, "Wake this guy up." Baiha, on the other hand, has taken a strong interest in me. I'm just a human, but I have this amazing power. It's like a joke from the gods. With electroshock stimulation, this burly man slowly opens his eyes in the nutrient pool. He cursed, "Lilong, you bastard. Do you really think you can be a god?" And then it shattered the glass even more violently. A swing of power is about to strike. Yiksha slammed his foot and sent it flying. As Lilong's most loyal subordinate, she would never allow anyone to harm Lilong. And Lilong spoke slowly, it's so pathetic, an existence like ours, doomed to eternal solitude. The next second he takes the gloves off. A powerful thunderbolt erupts from between his palms. The strong orc is burned to a crisp with a single blow. Lilong turns away and recites, I'm not trying to be a god. I'm just trying to challenge God. Back to me and Hanyu. Hanyu is fighting a flock of seagulls to defend his fries. Just now, I finally chose to let the Unicorn King go, because I can feel it. He's a man with a place to go. News of the Unicorn King's failed attempt to capture me has reached Lilong's ears. Yiksha volunteered to capture me, but Lilong speaks slowly, no need. I'll go myself. That scares Yiksha to death. As a being that has lived for thousands of years, Lilong's heart has long since changed. She didn't think anything could excite him anymore, but this time, the power in me intoxicated him. By this time, Hanyu and I were on an island. This is the island where I lived with my mom when I was little, but my memories of the past are all blurred. And the island has become a different place. There's an eerie atmosphere everywhere. Hanyu and I traveled all the way to my house, but what was once a cozy home is very much in ruins. And Hanyu is keenly aware that the surrounding trees are out of place. Such a powerful trail of destruction. Definitely not humanly possible. He quickly asked what my mother used to do. Mom used to be a respected witch. She was well known in the area, but then someone said that my mom had leaked the secret. I felt something was wrong when I said that. I can't believe I forgot how my mom died in the end. An intense headache hits me. I seem to recall a man. He sent down a thunderbolt that destroyed my home. But I can't remember who that man was. Hanyu told me to stop thinking about it. He turned his head and shouted behind the tree, come out, you have been following us stealthily for a long time. A white-haired man showed his head from behind. I can't believe I'm so cleverly hidden. You're not to be trifled with, are you? You two have a lot of nerve. Is it possible that you came to this deserted island to look for treasure? This old man jumped upstairs. He turned his back to us and said in a loud voice, I never thought I'd see an orc here. And I look at his face and I suddenly remember something. I think he's held my hand before. Who the hell are you, old man? The old man grinned at that, turns around and jumps to the ground. Want to know who I am? Then beat me. He was the strongest king of beasts thousands of years ago. Now he's the bodyguard of a young man because of a jade pendant. When he and I came to our former home, it had long since become overgrown, and a strange old man popped up to challenge us, and he called Hanyu a milquetoast brat. That immediately made Hanyu explode. Even though I look young, but at least I'm your senior. How dare you be so rude? With that, he rushed forward and attacked. The two fought for only a few rounds. Hanyu has left many wounds on the older man with the tiger's keen speed, but he's still proud of himself. Evaluating Hanyu is fast though, but not enough damage with a shaky lower board. Hanyu grins. Then I will show you the power of the king of beasts. 3 seconds later, Uncle has been hit directly by Hanyu and is nearly unsteady on his feet. Unfortunately, he's still trying to be brave. Hanyu taunts him, don't be so tough at your age. At that, the uncle laughs a little. Then he collapsed. Hanyu and I were about to go up and check on the situation, but then the old man suddenly raised his finger. Several huge stakes rose up and hit Hanyu, though Hanyu quickly avoids the damage, but the stake still caused him some pain. Looking at Uncle's bizarre fighting style, Hanyu also realized that this guy was definitely not ordinary. But just as the two sides were preparing for battle, suddenly I seem to remember who he is. Are you the Landmaster? The old man was very surprised to hear what I said. He said something like, I thought both you already knew. I'm trying to explain something and then he falls again. And that's what confirmed it for me. He's the landlord I remember. Not only did he know my mother, he even hugged me when I was little. And the Landmaster directly hugged me. It's been a long time, Aisheng. I've been waiting for you here for a long time. A few moments later Hanyu and I were led to a cave by the Landmaster. And there was my mother's spirit. The Landmaster asked me to go and offer incense to my mother. After the incense, we went to the Landmaster's house. I listened to the Landmaster as I healed his wounds. He's been waiting for me here for a long time. For the past 10 years. He's been unable to leave this place, so he's been practicing non-stop. It wasn't until I came that he felt the light. I asked him about his mother. My memories of the past are very confused. I only remember a stormy day. A thunderbolt struck my house, and a mysterious man stood there. The Landmaster was silent after hearing this. He slowly talked about what happened back then. Lilong attacked 100 Flowers Island for the jade pendant I was wearing, and the Landmaster volunteered to stop him, but my mother tried to stop him. Lilong was a man who wanted to become a dragon. He's not to be trifled with. Mother decided to let the Landmaster take me out of here. On the verge of leaving, Mother called me here. She hung the jade pendant on me, and instructed me never to take it off no matter what. At that time, the Landmaster asked if we should wake Hanyu up. If he was there, we'll be able to fight Lilong. But then the mother said, it was against destiny. Though destiny is unpredictable, Mother believes I will fulfill my destiny. After the flashback I asked, Mastarando, Tenteng. Who the hell is that Lilong guy? He's your mom's archenemy. The Landmaster said solemnly. At this time on the other side, the viper orc that almost killed me earlier is being chased. A ball of flame surrounds the scared him. It was Zhang Xiaohu. He's working with the lady prosecutor. He found this viper orc to inquire about Hanhu's whereabouts. Thousands of years ago, there was a great war between the bears and the tigers over land. In that battle, Hanhu, the strongest of the tiger clan's East China Sea warriors, slayed the world. All the bear people are scared of him, but just at the most critical moment of the war, Hanhu, the god of war, suddenly disappeared. After that, the tigers were wiped out by the bears. And back to the present. The most powerful orc of his time has reappeared in the world. The Yiksha clan has been looking for Hanhu and me again. Kiao Shinkusu, Tenten. They are trying to recruit the strongest orc. And he's got a vendetta against the Yiksha, so he has to find Hanhu first to avoid that. Back to 100 Flowers. After I learned about my fate from Landmaster, he began to train me in hell. The strange power in me came from the jade pendant. To use it I must remain calm. But despite the special training, whenever I close my eyes, all that comes to mind is what happened to me these past few days, and the man I feared as a child. It was he who sent down the thunderbolt and killed my mother.